Hello friends, today we're going to look at some Lich gameplay from SH4, maybe pronounced 4 here, who knows. But they are Ancient 5, very close to their goal of Divine 1, which is very exciting, but sometimes that last few steps can be very hard to break through. So we're going to look for some small areas of improvement that we can try to work on to make it easier to finally get into Divine. We're going to do that by comparing it to EG.Fly. He is the position 5 and captain of EG. Very good player. We're going to take a look at him playing Lich to highlight a couple things that he does that we want to try to emulate. So I've identified 3. I've watched the games already. The first one is something only some heroes can do. I'll go into more detail when we go over the clip. But it's to spam out your spells before the rune spawns, and then use a clarity to regenerate your mana before the creeps actually meet. This is a very cost-effective play. We'll go into it. Second is to find times to farm neutrals as a support. It's weird because I know the whole time you're playing a support, people are telling you, look, you can't take farm. You have to play very poorly, like that's what supporting is. And that's sort of true, but you still need some gold. And you have to find times where you can get gold that would have otherwise gone to waste, or like create gold somehow for yourself. And so one of the ways to do that is to farm neutrals when the game is at a slow pace. We're going to talk about that as well. Finally, the last one, very hard to explain, but it's just safe positioning overall. Both in the laning stage, but also overall map movements. This one is very hard to, I could not explain it in this one video and you would like suddenly improve all your positionings. But I will point out a couple of mistakes and use Fly as an example of like what to do right, and hopefully that'll help push you and everyone else on the correct path of realizing like when you have to be a little safer with the way you move around the map. So with that, let's get straight into it. So right off the bat, I'm going to point out the itemization. I don't know why he's floating some bugs here, but a lot of regen because it's a fairly tough lane against LC and Windrunner, which is why I picked this game, by the way, because you were also against an LC. And all the other heroes are different, I know, but at least having the same offlaner against the same support at least provides some basis for comparison. So this is already beginning to demonstrate it. Notice his regen items. Lich is a hero that can spam out his spells. This is because his Frost Blast is low cooldown. The mana cost is decently high, but so is his mana pool, and the damage is quite good for the amount of mana he spends. This is why a hero like Lich can start with a bunch of mangoes, and also why a clarity is very good, and we're going to see why here in a second. LC, Wind Ranger, very strong lane. Against a Lich and Spectre, Spectre's a very weak laner, so you can't really contest these runes. That's why Fly is up here already, and he's going to start spamming his spells out, looking for not necessarily a kill, but he just wants to do a lot of damage right now because he has his clarity and he's going to have a lot of time to heal up. So they are going to get this kill here. I'll speed up a little bit. You see he's just using a lot of his spells, doing a lot of damage. Now she's going to get away, but he's going to pop his clarity. And he has lots of time to regenerate his mana before he gets back to the bottom lane. He's actually going to TP because it would have taken him a little long to get down here. I'm also going to point out he eats this tree. This is a very important tree to eat anytime you're against a strong lane. And honestly, any 5 position should do this besides Treant Protector. Treant does not need to do this because he can just walk through trees, and therefore it's in his favor to not cut this. But every other support, I highly recommend, with whatever tango you use first, you should probably cut this tree. Now, he's going to be fully regened in terms of health. And even though he used all his mana at the start and even teleported, he's now at half, and he's probably going to finish up to about here when this clarity ends, and then has his mangoes as well. The next thing I'm going to highlight a bit is using your nukes to both harass and secure the range creep. That's pretty hard to do with Lich, so I wouldn't worry too much on Lich in that regard, but it is something you can look for because this spell does do some AoE damage. But what I want to point out his positioning overall. You notice how he's like staying in this area. He never walks out too far. He's always staying back a bit. This is just safe to do when you have a ranged support. You want to avoid going too far up, and you want to focus your nukes on the offlaner. Even though this is a chance to auto attack, he's not going to run too far forward. He's always keeping relatively safe back. Both heroes are in front of him, and so his path to escape is to just run backwards. next thing I'm going to note real quick. So even though he had a lot of mangoes, he didn't spam out all of his spells right away when it was just level 1. You'll notice he's level 3 now. He's been saving his skill points. He's going to put... In fact, we'll start playing. He's going to put a second point in Frost Blast, and he's not sure if he'll need Frost Shield or Sinister Gaze, so he's saving that point. But what I want to say is that he does a lot more damage once Frost Blast is level 2. The mana cost only goes up by 25, but instead of doing 125 damage, he's now doing 200, ignoring magic resistance. So the mana he is spending is a lot more efficient now. He gets a lot more damage for it. So sometimes it's very rare that your level 1 nuke can actually just push everyone out right away. Many times it's better to play a little more conservatively at the start, wait till you hit level 3 and have that second point in your nuke, and then that's when it becomes better to start using up your mangoes. So he just used 1 to use Frost Blast here, and he's getting more value out of it. So this is something I recommend to you guys as well. If you want to buy like 3 mangoes on Lich, that's fine, but try not to spam them all out right away. You can... Like, if you need to use 1 to secure a range creep or to secure a large camp that's being pulled or something, go ahead. But if you can, be a little safe with it. Wait till you get level 3 so that you have a level 2 spell, and then that is when it's better to use your mangoes. You just get more value out of your mangoes, is really what it comes down to. So the next thing we're going to talk about is related to safe positioning, and that is to know when you should just let your teammates die. Which is very hard to do, I know. And it's especially hard to do at lower MMRs because you're going to get flamed a bit, and that feels bad. I don't know the right answer to tell you, like, whether you should just try anyways and not get flamed versus doing the right thing and maybe getting flamed. But I at least want you guys to know what is the right thing. You'll see that when this Ember came in, Fly just ditched him. He knows he cannot save his Spectre, and if he runs out, this double damage Ember will kill both of them. And you'll see Fly's just running back, playing extremely safe. And this is how ready he was to kill both of them. He is now running under the tower looking for Lich because he knows that he can kill the Lich right now, even under the tower. Fly was able to identify that because that this guy came in and had a double damage and just immediately left. He knows, I can't save Spectre, I don't want to feed a double kill, I should stay in this lane and survive, and that way I save some resources for myself, but also when Spectre comes back, I'm still here to help and I'm not like still dead or something. That's very tough to do, I know, but it is one of the skills that better players have that lower ranks do not, is how quickly people can decide, I'm just going to let this guy die, and you back off. There's not a perfect like equation to plug it into to know every time when to go and when not to go. And it's something you'll mess up a lot practicing and getting used to. But it is something you guys should work on to know, all right, this guy's dead. I'm going to leave him. I'm going to go do something else with my time. And it's really funny to see sometimes. Like, sometimes you'll see someone dying here, and the other person is just farming here. And it's like, why doesn't he go help him? Because he knows I cannot help him. Instead of running here and then running away, which accomplishes nothing, a better use of my time is to spend 5 seconds farming this camp. It's really funny to see. It's a bit counterintuitive, but sometimes you need to know to identify that and just do it to move on and be effective with your time. Okay, the next thing I want to point out is when he plays aggressively to place deep wards. So this is something a lot of people do as supports. They feel they need to ward in this area, so in this jungle down here, and that's true. You do need to ward this area. But you have to be careful about when you do it, because you can easily die and, feed away your life, and this is no good. We're always trying to cut out random deaths. Look at the mini-map real quick. There's someone bottom and there's someone mid. 2 people are dead. So right now, the only person missing is the carry, PA. But PA actually probably can't kill him solo right now because she's just not farmed and she's just not ready to do so. She has no way to cancel TPs. He could just TP out if he sees her. So he knows this is a good time to come into their jungle and place a ward. Especially because he knows these 2 are dead, and so they have to TP somewhere. And it's very unlikely that anyone's going to TP here right now. It's more likely that they TP somewhere out, or they just walk out to lanes. And so he waits. He sees Crystal Maiden bottom. Soon he's going to see her bottom. So he knows the only people missing are the carry and Ember. Ember could kill him. And so this is still a calculated risk. but at least he saw 3 people bottom before coming in here. He's going to drop his ward and immediately get out. This is just a way, like, he's still risking his life. He could still die, but he has seen where people are on the map and knows that, okay, there's only a chance that 2 of them are up here, and I might be able to go. Now, he is baiting for his team here. He's going to die, but this fight will work out. We're not going to worry about that. That's not what we're talking about. Okay, and the last thing we're going to talk about before going into the game is that farming of neutrals. So you see here, he's waiting for his ult, and they don't really want to fight while Spectre ult is on cooldown. And there's still quite a while to, I don't know why I stuttered on that, quite a while for her ult to be back on. They can still do things, but they're going to want Chain Frost to be able to take these team fights. And it's still down for 20 seconds. So he has 20 seconds to farm while he waits. In about 20 seconds, it'll be 16 minutes, and this camp will respawn. Plus, it's just a small camp, so the carries aren't going to miss it that much. It's only 60 gold. And so it's nice to grab this on, say, a support. And if you look at the map, where are his carries? He's got a Spectre over here. She's pretty important to farm. But she'll probably farm this camp first. Maybe this camp. I don't think she's quite ready to farm Ancients. Or she might farm up here. But let's say she did want to farm this camp eventually. She still has to come down here and farm this, and then run down here. And by the time she gets down here, it would be close to 16 minutes. So this camp would just respawn, and, like, what has she missed out on? Nothing. Lich got to farm this camp, and by the time she got here, this camp has respawned, and she'll get to farm it. You know, this is actually position 4 Void Spirit, so he's not stealing farm from him. Plus, he's farming the lane anyways. And Storm is down here, so why would Storm run up over here? Not super likely. He's probably going to farm this camp, and then look to go mid or wait for the camps to respawn. Maybe he'll, he probably won't go back to base because he's pretty healthy. But Storm Spirit is still down here. It would take him a while to get up here, and by that time, we would again be at that 16-minute mark. And then your last core is over there, was way out of the way. So this is just a good time to get a little bit of gold. I know it's just 60 gold because it's a small camp, but this can apply to other camps as well. Sometimes you can take a hard camp. Sometimes you can take a medium camp. Pretty unlikely you can get an ancient camp. But he's just taking some farm, and no one else needed it in this time. And that's going to respawn right here as we hit 16. Net benefit, he got 60 gold, some experience. No one on his team was hurt in a negative way. So we always need to look for ways to steal gold like that. We're not really stealing gold. We're just being efficient with the map. We didn't take it from anyone. Like, it's respawn, and no core came here. So it's good to be able to identify this as a support that, okay, this guy's farming the lane, this guy is up here, Storm, you know, oh, where'd Storm go? Storm ended up coming down here. This was safe for him to take. I wasn't recording. Hey guys, here we are. For the first time, for sure. Let's talk about your items. So, you have tangos, those are good. We don't need to talk about that. The ward, also good. It's this other mixture that I want to talk about a bit. So the Fairy Fire, I kind of like it against Maledict from Witch Doctor because it's well, it's hard to know. It could be a Maledict, or I'm sorry, it could be a Witch Doctor 4, or it could be a Jakiro 4, but it's probably the Legion Commander offlane and then one of them. And so if it's against Maledict, I like the Fairy Fire as a way of, you know, you don't prevent that damage over time, but it's like 7 damage level 1, 14, you know, it's very little. It is the health burst that makes Maledict scary, and so when Maledict gets cast on you, if you use your Fairy Fire, there's a chance you just take no damage from the burst because you technically haven't lost any damage or lost any health. The issue is they'll probably then do some more damage to you, and you'll survive, but you'll be pretty low health. And without a salve, like, what do you do at low health? You just sit there and try to tango up, but that's very slow. And so I really, if you had to pick one, I would rather you have a salve instead of a Fairy Fire, and hopefully you just survive and then salve afterwards. Or you could sell one of these mangoes and then have a salve. I think I would like that. Either sell the Fairy Fire, have a salve, or sell one of these mangoes and have a salve. I think both would be fine, but I would like to have a salve in this lane, because whether you're against Legion Commander and Witch Doctor, or Legion Commander and Jakiro, it's going to be a tough lane. Even though the two of you are pretty decent laners as well, it's still a tough lane, and you'll want a good amount of regen. And Troll does not have a salve, so I really think that You should have one. Now you're coming over to place your ward. I've watched through this, so I know you're going to place it up here. I think that's okay. I think that this ward spot is better against roaming fours, kind of like Spirit Breaker, Earth Spirit, or Shaker. Lots of spirits, lots of breakers. I mean, lots of earth. It's okay against these guys. You'll see the ward, or you'll see the creeps coming into lane. You'll see when they try to pull a little bit. But by the time you see them pull, they've already completed it, so you just know that they did it. So I would kind of prefer it over here, where it's a little more likely to get spotted, but it provides a bit more useful information. But at the same time, if you got here and like we did see Legion standing here, and so because of that, I don't really mind. I think this is fine. If you like this ward, it's whatever. Now there are 3 here, so you definitely can't fight for it. Troll will be okay. Now you know that because they chased all the way over here, they are not going to be able to body block. If they do, it's only going to be here, and it's going to be for a very little amount of time. I like this. You stand there. So now you have a decent starting spot, but I don't like this. So I don't like that you run over. We think back to Fly's positioning, right? So this was good. You come over here. This is still good. At this point, you can Frost Blast LC if you want. Or you can do the aggro trick I covered in the mechanics videos, where you like start in the back, right-click Legion. That gives you 3 seconds where the aggro is off of you. Then you run into range, you attack once, maybe twice. You probably only get to attack once. You back off again, do it again. That whole time, you're in a very safe position. But when you walk over here, you've walked into melee range of a Legion commander. Legion got more damage, got more armor. Look at you. You have 1. Well, you're within the tower right now. Or I don't feel like you should be. That might be a bug. A replay bug. I feel like you should have 1 armor out here. But the point is, she's melee and she should never be able to auto-attack you. And you kind of walked right up to her. And that's just... that's not ideal. And look how much health you're going to lose for this. You lost half your health, and you like hit her once. And then he hit her once. But between the two of you, you did that much damage, and you have lost like half your health. He's lost like a chunk of his. It was just not ideal. Now this kind of like auto-attacking, that's good, because it's you're definitely under tower now, so you've got the armor and bonus regen, and you're in a very safe position. So I like this kind of harassing, but I don't like seeing you walk all the way up. You know, you didn't die this time, but that kind of mistake is what can lead to getting killed. You know, especially if he had used Maledict or Stun. Now this kind of harassing, that's good, although I would try to focus it on the offlaner instead of the support. But the concept is there. And I think you should just prioritize the LC instead of the Witch Doctor. You know, instead of having half of both of their health, you know, you could have focused all your damage on one person and either killed them or made them back off and use like a salve or just stay way back with the tango. But instead the damage has been split between the 2 of these heroes, and they both feel okay contesting because you 2 are also half. Now, you ended up using 2 tangos to break a path through. So, in the end, you have your path. But it is better to break this tree right here that's standing up. And that way, you only use 1 tango and you have this path. And against a strong lane like Legion and Witch Doctor, it's very important to have a path through here. And then you can trade with, like, the Witch Doctor here. Very safe away from, like, the melee hero if you want. Or, say Witch Doctor stands on this side. You can run through here, poke this LC, and if she chases you, you run back around here, which is much safer than over here, because you don't really have a path through these trees, because you just have to like run straight back, and it's like right next to the creeps, right next to her to like hit you. So this is just safe positioning in the lane. Get back to your position. I think as soon as Maledict gets used on you and you want to play aggressively for this kill, I might use Fairy Fire right away. Usually you use it to bait people out, but because of the way Maledict works, where it does damage based on the health you've lost, so if he casts it on you when you were at, say, 300, and you just use Fairy Fire and you go up to, like, 385, you just won't take damage from the burst. And, like, you're going to take a bit... it seems very little. It is only 23, but it could have been, like, even less. And you Fairy Fire now, you're going to survive. And I think you'll even get this kill, actually. Yeah, but you see how you've now survived Maledict? And, like, you can't really be in the lane because you're so low health and you don't have a salve to heal you up. This is exactly what I was talking about with the salve. I also think this Frost Shield is unnecessary. I know you have, like, a decent-sized wave here, and it's the two of you versus just her. But because you are so low, it is still... Well, I guess you just use overwhelming odds. So you can run up if you want. But I don't know how worth it is to do this. I think it's probably better to just start... like, because you use Frost Shield, you're definitely gonna push this wave. Like, your creep's already more, and this Frost Shield is definitely gonna push this wave now. And I think you have to look to pull this hard camp right here. But, like, the issue still is that you're very low health, and you can't really do anything. So I think that hard pull would have been better. Troll is by himself right now, while you're, like, kind of here doing nothing, and you can't really do anything because you're so low health. Now he's gonna walk over because, you know, you were gone for a long time, and they know that, and he's gonna come look for you. He does have a ward. He's gonna place it now, which we can see on the minimap because of the bug. But he was just looking for you because you weren't showing in the lane. And he's like, well, he can't be in the lane because he was low, so he's either back here waiting to pull or he's left. So I'll go check. Happens to find you, and now he's gonna potentially kill you, especially because you're running up. I think as soon as you cross this high ground, you should cut straight down here. 2 reasons. 1, this is the closest path to safety. This tower provides armor and HP regen. You want to get here as soon as possible. He will probably not dive you under tower. Second, if you were closer to dying, and you still might be able to at this point, you could run into this camp and get yourself denied, which would be, or you can try, you know, it won't always work, but you can still try to get yourself denied, and that's pretty good. But running up here, I like the idea that you're trying to get behind, like, this line of sight, get behind this tree, but, like, where do you go from here? If you want to get back to the tower now, you have to cut down, but Witch Doctor would have chased you to here when you do that, and now it's like an easy intercept for him. Whereas when you ran this way, and if you cut straight this way, like, he's always as far behind you as possible. And if your other option is to, like, run this way or this way to mid towers, yeah, but he's, like, way faster than you because he started boots. Or he bought them at some point. Either way, he has boots now, and you don't. And so taking a long path away, he's definitely going to kill you by running you down and auto-attacking you. Whereas if you run over here, you might survive. I also think it's probably worth it to, like, if you're running this way, I might Mango and Frost Shield myself. Now with Troll coming up behind you, this is when you decide to do this. I think you should have Frost Shielded yourself. I think you might have even survived all of this if you had Frost Shielded yourself. Same deal. This is a very minor situation. You actually turn down. So instead of running in a straight line like this, you have curved down. And he is at the point where he only had to run in a straight line. Sorry, this is, like, extremely nitpicky. But if you had ran in a straight path, I don't think he would get in range to auto-attack you again because of the slow. But because you, like, turned a bit, I think he did. And so I think if you had just, like, ran straight, I think you would have survived. Now, unfortunately, this could have ended up okay if he killed Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor does get away and even kills the courier. So this was incredible for Witch Doctor, not good for Troll, not good for your lane either, because Legion has been solo this whole time. What if you had a salve? As soon as you got that Witch Doctor kill up here, you could have clarity'd and salved and then pulled this camp. You'd be full health, full mana. None of that would have happened. You wouldn't have died. LC wouldn't have gotten solo experience to get the advantage. Like, right now they're winning, I would say. So, oh, current gold, what? Oh, here. I was like, what? So, Troll's technically ahead from the kill he got, but, like, they both are really not that far behind him, and then you're way down here. So, this lane is not going well for you guys at this point in time. And a lot of that comes from not having a salve at the start. So, you end up coming back to lane. Oh, sorry, back to your perspective. So you do pull. I think that's good. You see him pull. So he's low. This is now a time where you can, like, think to play aggressive. I would just, don't even worry about that small camp. Look for these kind of last hits. That's good. If Troll can't get here, like, forget about all this. These creeps are being weakened and dying, and the enemy is not here to get XP. So just make sure you're absorbing all of this XP, trying to get the last hits, and trying to get the last hits on the large camp as well. Absolutely willing to use a spell to secure at least the large centaur. Like, you definitely should have blasted those, and then Legion wouldn't have gotten... Like, look at that. She got 80 gold right here, and it could have been your 80 gold. Yeah, full mana, you know? Definitely come, like, hit her with your spells and stuff. Never sit at... Well, not never, but try not to sit at full mana. You know, at least use one spell, and then let your passive regen kick in. This is, like, 2.2 regen that's not doing anything right now. This kind of positioning, like, you're technically in between two heroes, and then in between all these creeps. This is, like, very scary positioning. Over here was okay, and then just back out again. Once you know you're not going to play aggressive, just back out over here. That is safe. But this, you're, like, way too close to Legion. Like, look at your attack range. You never need to be closer to Legion than this. She is at the edge of the ring, and you are at the center of the ring. And you have no reason to be closer than that unless, like, you are actively going for a kill right now, or she is running at you, or whatever. But any casual harass, never closer than that. And that should be your, like, basis for positioning. All the enemy heroes should be outside of this circle or at the very edge. Now you have your level 2. Now is a good time. So I'm not, I don't recommend having your 2 starting clarities at this point still. Like, hopefully you would have used 1 by now. But since you do have all your mana right now, now is the time to start pumping it out with the Frost Blast. I'm kind of amazed this works out, honestly. I think she should have just fought Troll. Well, I guess she had the miss chance on him, but still. You know, it's a 60% miss chance, but she needed to hit him once. And I think you get killed there. But it works out for you, and you guys get a double kill. Again, I think you should look to pull. So, right here. Just got the double kill. Push out this wave. So, you guys, you tell them, kill off this wave. The creeps will push up and meet right here. This is okay because they're still dead. Troll will lane here, and you'll pull this hard camp. You'll pull this next wave into the hard camp here. And even not shoving the wave out, I think it would work. Yeah, like right here. Right now, 426, you hit the large camp right here and run down and stand like over here, and that would pull this camp into here. This one is not as ideal because, they're about to respawn. Though I guess they were going to respawn anyways in the first plan too. It would be okay, except that he's so low on health. Again, well, you wouldn't necessarily have bought a second salve, but that's the downside of him being so low, is that this kind of play is harder. I still think it's the right choice. Yeah, I think it's the right choice to pull, because if you don't pull, this lane will push up to here, and then Troll definitely can't lane because he's so low. But if you at least pull the hard camp here, then the lane will eventually push to you, which helps him because he's low, and you'll be able to like contest the pull from over here fairly safely. And I think it's just better for your team overall. Now you see that it's been blocked. I don't think you need a Bassi on Lich. It's kind of hard to explain, but what it comes down to is the fact that Lich just has really high mana cost spells that a Bassi is not enough to fix. You would rather, if you need something for mana, a stick or raindrops would be okay because they're cheaper and they're like pretty solid for the price and they won't fill up your slots forever. But I don't know. I don't like the Bassi. It might be okay though. I might just be too nitpicky on it. But I feel like I would have preferred you getting a stick plus a stick and Windlace, for example. The stick would help, like they're casting a decent amount of spells, and the stick is very helpful against Maledict because you heal yourself up a bit. And then the Windlace helps you to run around more, so you're not so slow. But like you still have a Mango and a Clarity. Like you don't quite need the Bassi yet. Now you do get the Bounty Rune at 5 minutes exactly, so that's pretty good timing. Come check the top, see it's not there. I don't think it's your fault for him dying. Kind of his fault for being out there so long. You're actually stronger than him. I think you want to Frost Blast him right there. He just hit you like 3 times for free. But if you Frost Blast, and like auto attack once or twice, I think you'll actually win the trade. This does 200 damage, you know? It's 660. So you do 200 reduced to like 150, but that still puts him at like 500. You guys auto attack a little bit. You did see him use his spells to kill Troll, you know? So you know he doesn't quite have them yet when you're there. So like you can cast Frost Blast. You don't necessarily need to commit anything else, but just Frost Blast, an auto attack or two. I think this is a little too aggressive. It might work out for you. Just kidding, I know it does because I've seen this. But I think they just have too many creeps here for you to do this kind of play. Plus, Legion is actually, well, at the time. So look how many creeps they have. They have 4 creeps plus the siege camp. And I know you're near your tower, but she is level 5 to your level 4s. And, like, it's just the 2 of you. So if he uses cask, it's going to bounce between the 2 of you and possibly the siege creep. But, like, there's a high chance it's the 2 of you. If he had Maledict right here, that would have been, like, fantastic. And, like, even right now, the only reason this works out is because she ends up diving you guys. And diving you under tower. What if she just didn't dive and they backed off? You would be sitting in this lane with 200 health and a single tango. And then they just wait for their spells to be up, and they do it again, and they kill you. Because you were at, like, full health when this started, right? Almost. So they did, like, half of your remaining health in that one burst right here. And so if they had backed off and just waited to do it again, you would die. And you wouldn't be able to do anything in this lane. But because she dives you under tower, it does end up working out. And unfortunately, the ice path, your team maybe could have gotten Witch Doctor. But either way, I think your team should have just farmed up that creep wave and caught up in levels, or wait for an opportunity. Start chipping them down. These guys kill you by bursting with Maledict and overwhelming odds. They burst you down. Lich and Troll are heroes that whittle you down. So you never want to go into a fight full health versus full health. You want to, like, cast your spells a couple times and get them down to, like, half health. You're at, like, 3/4 health. And then you're willing to fight there because you've got the health advantage. But going at a full health fight is not what you want to do against people meant to, like, burst you down. You do get the D ward. I think this ward spot would be better. Put your sentry here, because what if he had blocked the camp with one of these spots? You wouldn't have gotten it. You would have had to get a second sentry. But if you put your sentry up here, you'll deward the whole box. You have a salve. He also has a salve. I would wait for Tusk to get here. So, like, you know Tusk is coming over. I would wait for Tusk to come over here and then fight. I know you technically have a creep advantage here, but against Legion, I don't know if that matters, because she actually just, like, procs her passive more. And her overwhelming odds is a little bit better when you guys clump up like this. And she's going to get a last hit when she casts it, too. So, I don't know if you, like, actually want to fight her right now. Like, you are lower. There's 6, he's 3. And the important part of Witch Doctor is that he has 2 points in Maledict. And honestly, 2 points in Cask and 1 in Maledict, like, that's still really good. His 4th and 5th levels, they make him stronger, but, like, level 3 is plenty to do what he needs to do, which is the Maledict. And so, the 2 of you, I don't think, want to fight the 2 of them like this without, like, you want Tusk there, so it's a 3v2. A Tusk is going to get here. But see, like, you're dead now, so it's still a 2v2. And, like, you see how it's, like, not working out that well. Queen of Pain is going to rotate down here and, fortunately, clean this up a little bit. That, like, just barely missed Witch Doctor. So you're going to go mid, which I think is good. Queen of Pain TP'd bottom, so you want to get the XP here. Speed up a little. I don't think you want to initiate with Fear. I know you guys were thinking about fighting, but because he used his Q this way, he has no escape besides his W, which I believe he also used it. And I think you should have seen that, right? Yeah, so he used both his escape spells, so you don't need to fear right away, even if your team is going for this. I think you start with like Frost Blast into. Honestly, you could Frost Blast yourself. I'm sorry, Frost Blast him, shield yourself, and then Fear if you wanted to. But I think you guys just literally run at the puck until you have a feeling you. I don't expect you to know the exact times, but you saw him just use both his spells, so he has no other escape. So you guys can just run towards him. You have slowed him with your spells, and then after like a amount of time when he's getting close to this tower and close to getting away, that's when you can Fear. But you don't need to initiate with the Fear. Even if he had both his escape spells, I wouldn't initiate with the Fear because you don't have a lineup that has a follow-up. Like if you had a Lina on your team where you need to Fear to set up the stun, that's okay. But for this kind of thing, I think you just Frost Blast to start and see like whittle her down a bit. I don't think you actually need to initiate with the Fear against this kind of stuff. I will link the EG.Fly game, and you'll notice he's very conservative with the way he uses Sinister Gaze because it is an expensive spell with a long cooldown, and so he doesn't want to waste his mana unless he like knows he needs it. This isn't your fault that she chose to plink really aggressively, but that's pretty much what could have happened to Puck. Although Puck was in a bit safer spot. Puck used both her escapes and was here, and this is like, you can go on that. Whereas Quap used her blink, which is her escape, to come all the way up here, which is way more aggressive, and then you saw her die for it. And so the same thing possibly could have happened to Puck, where you blast, shield yourself, run at Puck for a bit, she blinks in, casts her spells, and then when Puck's like around here, then you Fear it back, and then hopefully you have another Frost Blast, and that's how you would have wanted that to go. Now she is dead, so you have to sit mid and soak XP, but the next thing you would want to do is to go top, because Troll versus LC, she's technically winning right now, but she can't kill Troll on her own if Troll is sitting at like near full health. In a 1v1, they're okay, and in fact, he even killed her somehow. I don't know how that works, but Troll is okay against LC 1v1. So what you want to do is you want to create pressure somewhere else, and it's usually off lane, to draw the supports top and leave the bottom in a 1v1. And even if Troll wouldn't win that 1v1, Troll's pretty good at jungling, so he can just go to the jungle and farm. And you guys pressure top, take this tower, and then Troll comes up there, and you guys come bottom. But since Quap died, you sit mid and get the XP. I think that is the right choice. And then once she comes back, then you go top. Now, unfortunately, once again, she comes in, blinks, using her only escape, and just dies. So, you're going to continue sitting mid now, and continue to get this XP. I know this video is about you, but this is an example of why mid laners dying randomly like this is really bad. Because now you're stuck in mid lane, right? It would be dumb for you to just give up this lane for free, to let them get like free tower damage, all this golden XP go to waste. So like you being here is the right choice now, given the situation. But what you wanted to do was to go top. And so with Queen of Pain dying twice like that, and that forces you to stay mid, Queen of Pain is like hurting her own game, but it's also hurting like everyone else's game because you want to be doing something else, but now instead you're stuck here mid. Now you're not going to go flame your mid laners for stuff like that, but I want you guys to be able to recognize, like, as stuff happens in the game, like, how does that impact me as a support? It means I'm stuck here. Nice deny. I'd be a little careful about walking down. Like, this Puck can just kill you. Puck has ult. I think this... So this goes back to... Remember when Fly just let that Spectre die? Where you got your little... This is where you gotta let Troll just die. Just let him die. He's way too far out. I know I talked about... So the fact that you died is irrelevant to me. Although it is like, you do have to remember if they have someone who can cancel TPs or just straight up kill you. In this case, they have Puck who can cancel TPs and kill you. You have to know not to TP like Insight. You have to like run into trees and then TP. But whether you had lived or died here, it doesn't matter to me because TPing down here is still the wrong choice. Troll is just dead. They have 2 damage over time spells from these 2 heroes, which means as soon as Maledict, or as soon as Troll ult ends, he will die. There's like nothing you can do to save this guy because you don't have a heal. And he's also way up here. You know, I think in a past video I said where troll ult is cool because he ults and you have time to TP in and help him. That only applies if it's like in this area, because then you like TP in and you're here to help. All the way up here, by the time you TP, you'll walk up and you get to about here, and then he's dead. And then you have nothing to do down here. What are you going to do 1v3? Nothing. And your goal was to come top and take this tower. So by TPing down here, even if Puck hadn't killed you, if you had completed your TP here, if it had gone canceled, whatever, the point is your TP is now on cooldown. You're down here, and like this is not where you want to be. You want to be top right now. And so this is one of those cases where you got to just let your troll die. Let people make their mistakes. Let them pay for it. He shouldn't be out this far without more vision, or without knowing where the other people on the map are. Oh. Same issue. Kind of like Queen of Pain coming in and just randomly dying. This has made you want to come bottom, but I don't think that's the I don't think this is the right play from your team. I think you guys want to be going top. Now it is kind of working out. Necro's going to get it himself, and you guys do get some return kills. But like, what was the price of it? Troll died twice. You died mid. Quap died a couple times. Now, obviously, you can't control Troll or Queen of Pain dying, but you knowing that, like, I want to be going top and I can't help Troll, that is what you can do in this game. You get Tranquils, I think that's fine. Now, what you're doing right now is a little scary to me. When we thought about what EG.Fly did this kind of play, he knew that 2 of them were bottom, or 3 of them were bottom, and he knew that at most he could run into 2 people. But you only saw Puck mid, and I believe you saw Sven top before coming over here, which means 3 people are still missing. And now that Sven's missing and you came over here, and Puck is an extremely mobile hero who could very easily come over here and kill you, like, I think this is a very risky play to come ward up here. Now, if you ward and just walk away, that's, like, acceptable. It's high risk, but I don't hate it. I personally think that pushing with Necrophos first, pushing the lane up to, like, here, and then you and Necrophos walk in and then you ward, like, that's way safer to me, and I think that's better. And when you get to, like, about here, then you could, like, pop in and drop a ward here, or, like, when the lane's here, you walk around and, like, pop your head up here, and then drop a ward over here. I think those are okay. Those would be a little better than doing this. But this overall is, like, kind of okay. But then you see Sven, and you walk back up. And I think that is really bad. Because this is, like, bad for 2 reasons. One, it's a needless risk. You can't accomplish anything by coming up here. You'll never kill this Sven alone. You're just a support. Even with Chain Frost bouncing, like, perfectly between Sven and this, and then, like, your other spells. Okay, technically, if it was perfectly between that, then you would kill him. But the odds of that are extremely minimal, and I would never take that risk, because it's much higher that it bounces between these creeps and kills them instead, and then Sven just gets away. But also, you're now revealing that you were up here. And if you didn't reveal that you were up here, if you warded this and just walked away, this is a common warding spot, but as long as they don't know that you were ever here, they don't have a reason to de-ward this. Now, they might, just by chance, but now that they know you are in this area, even though they didn't see you ward, they know that, hey, Lich was in that area, we should check for wards. So this ward is going to get de-warded, and you put your life at risk. You don't actually die this time, but look at Puck. He, like, immediately came over. So Puck sitting mid, sees you, immediately starts running top. Like, hey, let's just... He's pinging it. He's like, kill this guy. Like, what's he doing here? You know? And what are you doing there? There's nothing to do there. And so this is another, like, safe positioning thing, where there's no reason to go that deep yet. Now, because your team isn't really pressuring anywhere else, the other 2 supports have been just playing down here with LC, and Troll really should be going, like, top or something. I don't mind this smoke. I don't know if it's necessary, but the 2 of you guys just got 2 kills, and I think you should pressure this mid tower. If you want to smoke, that's fine. I don't think it's necessary. Being up here is a little scary, though, because don't forget, Puck can just straight up kill you if it's just you. I know you're smoked, but what if Puck was on this high ground? You know, if you guys want to make a smoke play, that's fine. But someone needs to push the lane forward, and then the other people sit behind smoked. But scattering like this is not good. And then you're coming up here to de-ward because they got it. But what was the point of smoking then, you know? Or like, you got the 2 kills, your team should be pressing this tower, but you guys, like, you're scattered, Necro went somewhere else. These 2 are mid, but, you know? This would have been a way cleaner kill if, like, you had stayed mid instead of wandering off. And instead, like, it's gonna end up being a little tough. Now you salve. If you had salved a little sooner, as soon as you turn the tree, that would have been better. But then also, instead of using Frost Blast, you should use Sinister Gaze, because she can attack you for 1.4 seconds, which means you'll regen about an extra 80 health. And I think you might have actually lived. So, like, if you had salved slightly sooner and then use Sinister Gaze first and then maybe Frost Blast right after that, you might not get the Frost Blast off because she might spam Duel on you and she might cast it as soon as Frost Blast is over. Or, I'm sorry, Sinister Gaze is over. But still, that would give you your best chance at surviving. And, like, you barely die. You know, what if you had healed an extra 100 health? That would mean it takes, like, 2 more auto attacks to kill you. And with the attack slow on her, or, like, with these guys there and hitting her and stuff, like, I think it would have been a little closer. Maybe you still die, but still, it's closer. It improves your chances a little bit. I don't know why we're watching in slow motion. Now your team's diving a little far to try to finish off that kill, but some good ice shards will diffuse the situation. Right now, so I don't think you should TP top. What were you looking at right before you TP'd? Let me see. So you're just kind of looking around, and you see the lane, and you TP up here. But if we go and look at the actual lane, you have 2 creeps. This one's about to die. They have 4. But it'll take 10 seconds until these creeps die, and then, you know, a couple more seconds to walk here under tower. Necrophos is on his way. He's going to make it here by the time these guys get here. So Necrophos has this covered, and he's in the area. He's a core. He should be here. But now you've TP'd up here, and now it becomes awkward. Like, does Necrophos still walk up here? He's not really someone who wants to jungle. He wants to be in the lane. You're not someone who can jungle that easily. So it's like, we don't both need to be up here, especially because this tower's gone, and we're not quite ready to pressure this tower. And just the 2 of us can't really push into here. We need someone else with us. But, you know, Tusk is low and going back. Queen of Pain just TP'd. No, she's running back. So, like, nothing's happening right now, so you don't need to teleport. You should save it, because what if someone goes on him now? Like, you can't come in to help him because you teleported top. So I would prefer if you just walked top or walked, probably mid is where I would walk right now. Because I think that's what your team wants to be doing. I think you guys need this. I think what I would want from you guys is, like, 4 of you smoke and, like, come into here and then place some deep wards in this area safely with your team. Find a kill because you have, like, a Necro. How close is his ult? So maybe wait for Necro ult to be up. Maybe Queen ult. But you have Chain Frost, which is a pretty good team fight. So, like, getting a pick with a smoke is fine. And then with vision established here, you can pressure this mid tower or this tower. Both of which are, like, pretty good targets to go for. I had a sudden panic that I didn't record for a 2nd time in a row. But we're good. Woo. So, like, you come up here, and again, I just think this is really risky. Like, where are they? Oh. But she can kill you. He can kill you. Honestly, Witch Doctor can probably kill you on his own. And I think probably Sven could as well. So it's, like, very scary to just come up here by yourself for no reason. You know, does the game change because they no longer have a sentry there? No. Actually, something I forgot to say as well. Okay, what time are we at? We're at 14 minutes. There was a time I wanted to point out where... Okay, you die here. Now I'll speed up. Come here. Okay, this is what I want to talk about. You come mid. I forgot to say this. No, I did say this, didn't I? Yeah, we're walking out here is a really bad positioning, right? I said that. Yeah. All right, back forward. Guys, sorry. This is, like, the 3rd time I recorded this. The first time I recorded it was, like, 2 hours, and it was way too long. So I was like, I'll do it again. And then I didn't record it. Now we're here. So just like this kind of aggressive positioning is what reminded me. If you're out here against a Puck and it's like Puck could just kill you. It's really scary. I would want to be in the back. Your Frost Shield is very long range. So is well, Chain Frost isn't that long, but it's like decently long, you know? Now if you guys want to pressure that bottom tower, I don't hate it, but it's not really your next objective. Your next objective is mid. And to get mid, to make that a little easier, you need vision either up here or down here. And I think it's easier to get it up here. And that combines with your other objective, preferred objective, which is top. Now, this is going to work out pretty well for you guys. Really good Chain Frost. This shouldn't have worked out, you know, because it's technically a 4v3. But they group up for an amazing Chain Frost, and it is working out. Another very minimal positioning thing here. You should be running this way. If you want to chase with the kill, you need to follow them as close as possible because Puck can solo kill you. And so walking over to the right, when you know Puck ran into this area, I think is like unideal. This is like a very minimal thing where it's like literally a distance of this two, and like Puck probably would still kill you anyways. But yeah, see, like Puck just kills you easily. Whereas what if you were like over here? Puck might still kill you, but at least Puck has to go further to do that, and it's a little scarier. It's all about slowly shifting the odds into your favor. Even if you could still die right here, Puck might see you like way over there and decide like, okay, that's too far. I don't want to go for that. But being over here, close to the tower, you don't know that they have vision, but like it's close to the tower. Puck might see you and go like, yeah, it's close enough. I'll go for that. We're always just trying to minimize our risks as much as possible. Okay, watching your team. Buying the cloak first, that's good. Did you grab? Oh no, it's not. It's only 16 minutes in the game, I forgot. I've been talking so long. You will need to grab a neutral item soon. Let's see, what does your team have? Okay, oh, so the Queen doesn't have one. That's Tusk. You shouldn't have this. That should be on your Queen of Pain. For you, I'd probably want to grab this Keen Optic when that's freed up. But we'll see what items your team gets. Speed up a bit. So like you playing with Necro here, I think is kind of fine. But like see how you like just end up coming back mid anyways? It's because like this is where all the action's going to be. Very close. Almost got Puck. I kind of think, I don't know, maybe ulting the supports would have been better because you know Puck has an escape like that. But then again, Puck is the most important target to kill, and it was like really close, so I don't hate it. By the way, you should have a stick. I think it's really good for all supports to get a stick. That ward is okay, except I think you should place a sentry before you do it. So just drop a sentry mid or on the high ground and check to see if they have a ward, and it looks like they do based on this minimap. Just so you know that, okay, if they have a ward here, then they know they would see me place a ward, so I'm not going to do that. This is way too deep, in my opinion. This is another case. Just let Tusk die. He shouldn't have gone in this deep. This is too deep for you guys to chase. Frost Shield? Okay, that's fine. I wouldn't go any further. I definitely wouldn't walk to the tower. I would walk over this way, maybe. But probably just let Tusk die. You know, he might even be okay. He's full health. He has, like, ice shards and stuff. You know, he can run up a cliff and then shield. But now you guys are, like, between their tier 1 and tier 2 towers, you know? It's, like, way too deep, in my opinion. And it is. 3 dead. You know, for a Jakiro, not worth it. That's a case where you just let Tusk go in and die. And a 4 for, like, Tusk 4 dying for Jakiro 5. It's like, okay, that's not so bad. But the off lane and both supports dying for Jakiro 5, definitely not good. I wouldn't chase this far. Again, like, from my high ground, I feel good. A little lower, okay. I would never chase to their high ground. I wouldn't be the first one to go when they're, like, all missing like that. You're the position 5. You're the back line. I know it's hard because you have, like, literally the only, like, Sinister Gaze for your team. But instead of being the first to lead, that should just tell you, like, okay, we can't really kill Puck unless Puck goes out of position. So instead of putting myself out of position to try to kill Puck, like, we'll just chill. We won't go for that. We'll just push the tower directly. walking up. This is too far again. Look how far you can cast Frost Shield. Your concern right now is like, okay, I will cast Frost Shield on Troll when he's needed. And so to do that, this is how far I can cast it, which means I can stand like back here. And this is way safer. You know, what if Puck had Coil? And she does. Puck comes in, coils in 3 of you. Silences you guys too. That's scary, isn't it? But if you're out here, she can't get you. She might get these guys, but then you can Frost Shield him, and you can like Sinister Gaze or something. But if you're in here, silenced and stunned with them, you can't. And then you get like some Maledict Macro Pyre combo. It's terrifying. And so this is just like way too up. This goes back to like positioning and recognizing that they have 2 Blink Initiators. They have Legion, they have Puck, they have I mean, Sven's not a Blink Initiator. He might buy a Blink, but you know, Jakiro, Ice Path from long range. Like now you see them, but even then I still wouldn't like walk under tower. Yeah, this positioning I like. This is way better. This is way safer. Again, your team's like diving pretty deep. I'm not sure what that smoke was. I'm going to assume it was a misclick because smoke just breaks next to a tower. So that was... I'm just going to assume you didn't mean to click it. Which absolutely happens. You know, I won't make a big deal out of it. No, not here. Sorry, there's a time when I want you to farm a neutral camp down here as an example of what we were talking about. But it was not yet. Oh, you disconnect here. Okay, you're back. So I think this fight is okay. Like trying to help out the way you cast your spells. That's about the best that can happen. You see, he has a Glimmer Cape that should, you should know to buy Dust or to get ready to buy Dust. Playing real aggressively, I think it's okay. Although I wouldn't have chased like Quap is right now. I think that's like a little way too deep. You should note that they have a stack there and consider getting this. Now, actually, right here, let's go back. You guys just get a double kill. 20 minutes and 47 seconds. What if you guys want to do Roche? I think you could absolutely do Roshan right here. So Tusk actually went Urn and straight for a Spirit Vessel. I think Tusk should have gone like Urn into a Medallion. Medallion being very good against like these 2 heavy physical lineups. And especially against someone who gets dueled, you just Medallion the target and make them a way more survivable. Plus, it opens up Roshan. Troll is very good at doing Roshan early through his kit. And with a Medallion, it just makes it even easier. You get these 2 kills. I think you guys could go straight to the Roche Pit right now. Now you choose to get a mid tower, which is like, okay. That's like second best option, in my opinion. Even without the Medallion, I think you guys could do Roshan because 2 people are dead for quite a long time. So you guys would run over here. This is what would happen. You get the kill here, 247. You guys go straight over. Let's see, what I say, 47. So you would be in Roche Pit right now. They start doing it. You come up here. You like Frost Shield the Troll who's tanking it or something. You walk up here, drop a ward, and then you like stand over here or something to break smokes. Or like you stand up here and you're willing to die. You're the position 5. Like make space for your team. And in fact, actually, let Tusk be up here, right? Tusk has an escape of sorts, and you can be the one down here, while Troll and maybe Necro do this, and you stand to the side, being ready to cast your spells to help out. And you guys would get Roche. They will not fight you after you have Roche, and then you can just take this tier 2 like that. I mean, they might fight you, but you have Aegis, so okay. Fight me, you know, we'll win the fight. We have Aegis. So, I mean, don't go diving like crazily, but you could just let them fight you and then push the towers and get like every T2 in the game. But instead you get like this 1 tier 2, which is good, but now it's like too late to go get Roshan. And you guys are deciding to go high ground, but this is wasted time. You don't even have creeps here. Look how far back your creep wave is. Like, if you really wanted to, you guys could like go to Roshan after getting that tier 2, but I think it's too risky. Though maybe the enemy team wouldn't react fast enough at this level. But coming to the high ground is definitely a waste of time because you guys don't have creeps. He's nowhere near strong enough to just go through this. So like your whole team is sitting here for like 20 to 30 seconds wasting time. Now you should not TP, and you are going to cancel it. I'm glad you do because you should not be the one to TP away. If your cores want to TP, that's one thing. But when you push this far up as a team, and then you decide to back up, and a lot of them are alive, you all need to back away together safely. And especially as the support, you need to make sure everyone else gets away. You cannot be the first guy to TP out. Now you do cancel it, which is good, and you're going to turn around to help. Personally, I think the other team is misplaying a bit. But it's like kind of working. And now this is like diving too deep. And this is actually not good for you guys. It's not bad, but this is like neutral, I guess. Which is, if you're in the lead, a neutral trade is kind of bad for you, right? Because anytime you're winning, you only want to take like winning engagements. And so the fact that you guys got 3 kills is nice, but they killed 2 of your core heroes. And you can't do anything without Troll. Like, you guys do not hit the tower. You guys are so bad at it without Troll. Which means you can't take objectives as long as this guy's dead. So your team just can't do anything for a minute now. And like, we were talking about possibly doing Roshan. We were talking about getting the other towers, maybe sieging high ground. So this dying here is like not good. Whereas the other team, they wanted the game to extend out because they were kind of on the back foot and losing. Now here, this is where we're going to start thinking about you jungling. Right here. Note the time, 2:29, okay? Let's keep watching what you do. You run over to this lane with Queen of Pain. Actually, what are you doing right now? I think you might have been buying items or something. You walk over here, but Queen of Pain was doing this. So, like, you didn't really do anything. You got a little bit of experience, and now you walk back over here. It's about 15 seconds that you could have just stood here, Frost blast these creeps, and auto-attack them. Or maybe Frost shield yourself and then auto-attack them. Yeah, Frost shield probably does... Yeah, Frost shield does a little bit more damage, and it makes you tanky. So Frost shield yourself and attack these guys. What does that do for you? Well, they would respawn by 23 minutes, right? So Quap is here farming. You're not disrupting her farm. She wasn't going to farm these jungles. She's farming the lane. Troll, what if he wants to farm here? Well, he's still dead. By the time he respawns and gets here, it would be 23 minutes, which means anything you killed here would have respawned. So you don't disrupt him. Where's your Tusk? Who cares? Like the other support, you can contest for farm. That's not always true, but in Tusk's case, it's fine. You know, and then Necro's dead. Where's he going to be? By the time he gets here, this would also respawn. So this is a time where it's your turn to farm this. If I were you, like, you're very close to your Shadow Amulet. So, like, that's when you want to look to farm and get these last hits. And that would give you enough gold. That would give you 100 gold. What do you need to buy? You need to buy a Teleport Scroll so that you can rotate. You should pick up... Has your team gotten the... Yeah, your team has the other neutrals now. You should really pick up one of the other neutrals. It happens, but definitely try to reduce the times it happens. So you need to pick up your Teleport. Your neutral item's free. You need a Clarity because you really need to be full mana, or at least close to full mana, because your spells are quite expensive, right? You could cast one spell. You could cast your ultimate or 2 other spells, and like that's not ideal. You want to be able to cast all your spells. By the way, I like that you leveled up Sinister Gaze because I think it is quite helpful against a puck. But yeah, so you need the TP, the Clarities. You need Dust because he has invisibility. It would also help to, you know, the ward's free, but the sentries are not, but you should pick up sentries. And so I know you're really close to your Glimmer Cape, but let's say you buy Glimmer Cape when you hit 1,000 gold here. You're still not able to rotate, which means if a fight breaks out, you can't join it to use your Glimmer Cape. And you also don't have the mana. Glimmer Cape is an expensive... Well, it's not that expensive. I think it's like 90... Yeah, it's 90 mana, which... is technically not that expensive, but when you're only sitting at 300 mana and you have really expensive spells, you can't really use Glimmer, you know? You need to have mana. And so I don't think you can save up for Shadow Amulet. I think you have to buy the other things first. And you do. You buy the Clarities. But then you still need like the Teleport, everything else. Bring those in, and then like farm these creeps, you know? Now you are going to stack the small camp. That's good. But you would have had time to, say, farm the hard camp, then come stack this. Or maybe farm the small camp and then stack the hard camp. Either way is fine, but you would have had a bit more gold and experience, which would have helped you buy the items you need to get you closer to your Shadow Amulet. And in fact, I would be okay for you to farm both. Farm this, pull this, and then farm this again, you know? Because you are very close to an item that would help your team, a Glimmer Cape. So it is okay to steal farm. Like, she's farming it now, but it would have been okay to steal this from her because you're really close to an item and she is not. You know, who cares? Eventually she'll need more gold, but right now she's not close to something, whereas you are. And I think it's important to recognize that and know that this is the time where I need to farm. If you were sitting at 500 gold, you know, you don't really need to farm yet because it would take you a long time to get 500 gold. But you need like 200 gold to be able to get this Shadow Amulet and then all the other items we talked about. And so it's totally worth you farming. Should be able to save her easily. Yep. And he just ran in there. I think this is quite risky. I think it's much safer to look for a kill first and then secure this. But yeah, I just think this is really risky. Okay, so see, they do know I wouldn't Frost Blast. Like, you're very close to the edge of having enough mana. Is your, like, 200 damage against Roshan, who's still got, like, 3,000 health, is that going to matter a ton when this guy, like, one auto attack from Troll does what your spell cast did? So it doesn't really matter. Your Frost Blast is much more important as a attack slow and a movement slow on the enemy team. And plus, you know, probably you don't even cast Frost Blast. You save your mana for like Chain Frost, Frost Shield, and Sinister Gaze because you just don't have enough mana to use all of it, let alone your Glimmer Cape. Because you did buy Clarities, but you didn't bring them out yet. You're like still waiting for the Shadow Amulet, but like you're not ready to fight, and your team's trying to do Roshan. So you have to make sure your hero is able to contribute. Your hero casts spells. You got to be able to do it. And so you're like gonna bring it over, but you still don't have the mana to cast it. This is gonna work out. They didn't go on you, but they definitely should have. Tusk stayed too far. Necro's a bit too far. I don't think that's good. But you are gonna get like a decent ult. I guess it bounced on 3. It's like, I guess it's not that decent. It's like moderate, like worse than a little worse. But like, yeah, you can't catch Puck. I wouldn't waste time on it. I would just like go push in mid. And you guys do. Okay. So that wasn't that much of a waste of time, honestly. With him buying back, though, I wouldn't continue to push. I would back up and go get top or maybe push out bottom. Either of those is okay, but you should like look to get all the other tier 2s with Aegis. Something common that casters say is the first Aegis is for map control, second Aegis is to try to end the game. And I think that's a pretty good rule of thumb to go by. So try to get top and bottom. It looks like you guys are going to come top. You don't need to walk down this high ground. Now they know you're here. If you stay like here, it's way safer. They don't know you're here, and you're able to help troll and cast spells. Or let's say you stay up here out of sight, and they see 2 cores up here, and they go, let's smoke. There's 5 of us, 3 of them at most. Let's smoke and go for these 2 cores. We don't know where Lich is, but that's okay. They run this way, and you were standing like here, and you break their smoke, and they go, all right, kill the Lich, you know? And then your cores get away. They ran this path because they didn't know you were here to break their smoke. Otherwise, they would have run this way. But they were trying to get the like advantage going this way. If they do go this way and they get the engage on these guys, then you're able to frost shield everything from the back line, so you're in a very safe spot as a support and able to contribute with your spells. Yeah. But running down here, you just like reveal your position, and now they know that all 3 of you are here, and they can come, like, they know how to approach that if they want to. I don't think you need to ward this high ground because you no longer have an objective up here either. If you guys were pushing high ground right now, top or mid, then this ward is okay. But you guys just got the tier 2s, so you're not really going to play in this area for a while. And in fact, you guys are all leaving it. So there's no real reason to ward this high ground because this is like the first area they would come to check to deward. So it'd be much better to put a ward that is low risk and high chance of surviving. Something like down here, over here, maybe like over here. Something less common than the high ground so that what am I saying? You know, this is just like, what did I say? I said like anytime you put something on the high ground, someone's life should be at risk. And no one's life is at risk because you guys all just left this area. So there's no point to be there. And then the next thing is you like walk over here when your team is still respawning, and this is like super dangerous. So this death is really bad because your troll has Aegis. But that doesn't mean your team wants to take bad fights, which means for 44 seconds, your team can't do anything with Aegis. And that's really unideal. When you have Aegis and you guys are ahead, all you should do is just push together. You go as a line and you go forward. And when your team gets up to here, that is when you can come up to this high ground to ward because your team is right here to back you up. But what you did, walking totally by yourself while your team's all the way over here, and you know that the enemy team is alive, and you have a ward here, so you know they weren't there. This is just asking to die, and you do die. And now your team has to waste a minute on Aegis. So definitely try to avoid that. This all comes back to like safe positioning and knowing like where you can and cannot be on the map. Almost always you want to be like running with teammates. Oh, I thought it was on your perspective. Apparently I was looking at the wrong thing. So now you guys are going to come up here. You finally respawned. Now Queen gonna die? Let's slow down a little bit. I think you should Frost Shield her first. Canceling him is pretty good too. I think you still probably do have time to Frost Shield either her or maybe your troll or something. Just get like the Frost Shield AoE damage and slow out. But canceling his channel was also really good. It's a pretty solid ultimate. Okay, you Frost Shielded yourself. You're not... Okay, once you have canceled Witch Doctor's ultimate, that's really good. You've gotten a decent Chain Frost off. So that is a big part of your team fight contribution. You do want to survive if possible, but you have to remember that your cores are a bit more important than you are. And so I think you probably want to use Frost Shield on like one of your teammates instead of yourself. Well, in the end, it's going to be okay. So you've committed 2 wards here. I don't mind that because there was a fight breaking out, but you should know that, like, okay, we should push mid then, because we just committed 2 wards here. This, way too deep. Troll has the right idea. Forget this. Who cares? Never care about that. You're just a support, a 5 support. You have very little damage against the tower. This guy is your tower taker. Whenever you're pushing high ground, identify who is my tower taker. That is my job to defend. That's all I care about. I don't care about hitting this tower. This is way too deep. You should run out right now. Stand over here. This is the safest spot you could be in. Over here is better than under the tower, but still not that safe. I want you to be over here. You're like way out of range. You can't even reach Troll. He's the only guy I care about right now. Tusk clearly likes to dive, and he's a support, so we don't care about saving his life. Necro, it's nice to save him, but he is tanky and meant to like draw aggro. It's like his job. So if he dies, it's kind of whatever. Troll is the only guy I care about. I need to be in range to help Troll. But you're like way out of range over there. Now you're in range. Walking up here, too close. Never forget. Look how long this is. All I care about is Troll. Forget this guy. Stand over here. This is the safest spot to be in. Do you know why? Because where can they approach from? They can run straight down here, which means Troll would see them. And so, like, they'll run into Troll before you. And if they come in this way, yeah, that's possible, but, like, this is the furthest you could be from someone coming this direction. If you're standing here, they could come here, they could come here, they could come here, they could wrap around and come from the back. You know, they have so many ways to get to you. But when you're over here, it's only forward and here, and if they want to wrap around, it, like, takes ages to get here. And so this is the safest spot for you to be in as a position 5, pushing the bottom lane. Him standing here, this is pretty good, and so you stand here. When they go on him, you Frost Shield and Glimmer Cape him, and then cast your other spells as well. Walking up here, unnecessary. This guy drawing all of this attention is good. You don't need to cancel his ult this time because it's not a full team fight. They were just trying to kill Necro, and Necro has Ghost Shroud. And so Necro was just going to walk out of that. And this ult's okay. It's actually good, but it was like unnecessary, I guess is what I'm saying. Because your team's not fighting here. You're just trying to take the tower. And now you guys are kind of fighting. But like, this is way deep. You're always forgetting, like, your team's forgetting the buildings. He denied it. I didn't notice that the 3 times I watched this game. But you know, you guys had Aegis and you got one Rax. And I think you guys could have like had a much cleaner fight. And it's just like making the game a little harder for yourself. Overall, I would say it's a win because you got Rax, but you know, still, it's making the game harder. Telescope? Oh no, that's the other team. It's always confusing watching from this perspective. So what are the neutrals now? I think Troll wants this Orb of Destruction, and then you hold the Ring of Aquila for your team because it is an AoE aura for your team. And it's a little more useful. I don't know if you guys want to fight like this. Like, I think you're just waiting for a Troll right now. If I was you guys, that's what I want to do. Same deal. I don't think you need to initiate with Sinister Gaze. Although she does have a blink, so maybe you need to be really fast. But Frost Blast is really fast. So I think you just Frost Blast her first. I would run down here. This is safer for you. Running over here could be where the enemy team is. Look at that. Jakira's here. Whereas, you know, I think if you run over here, I don't think anyone's going to kill you. I think you're very safe down here because this is closer to your half of the map, you know? So maybe, like, pretend to run this way, go Glimmer, and then turn around. I think that's something you can do. You know, your team's trying to fight right now, but your carry isn't here because he was dead. I just, like, wouldn't want to fight right now. And you should tell your team that, too. Like, if they're up here trying to get a kill, you should be like, look, just wait, please. Wait for Troll, and then we all just walk up, push top, and wait for Aegis to respawn. But we can, like, play on this half of the map and wait for Aegis. In fact, this is an excellent time to do that. Now he's dying solo, and you guys are just, like, making it hard for yourself. You should just wait to take a pure 5-on-5, and you guys will be in the lead, because you are in the lead. And you just play in this top area, let bottom always be in your favor, because you have the Rax. It'll always push this way. Just to keep control of their jungle. Don't let anyone walk in here. And then wait for Aegis to, wait for Roshan to respawn, and take it. And you guys can, like, slowly chip away at you if you want, but you never have to commit to it. You just wait for the next Aegis to break, say, top. It doesn't really matter, top or mid, but you do that. Speed up a little bit. So this positioning's good so far. You're now getting a little too far up. I would want to be a little more back. I don't hate the high ground ward, but this high ground ward means that you guys need to play in this area now, and I would prefer you to play in the top half because you already have this bottom Rax, and it's okay to leave it at 1. You know, you got the melee Rax. That's kind of, it's debatable. I want to make a video analyzing which is better to get the ranged or the melee, but for now you got 1 Rax, so it'll always be in your favor, which is good enough for now. And so I don't think you need to place this high ground ward. Is this your courier? Is this someone else's courier? Okay, so this is good. You're getting some farm from the neutrals. But actually, like, right now, you've got 5 of you, and I would prefer you guys to be playing on their half of the map. So although it's, like, good that you're getting some farm, I don't know. Do keep in mind, like, it's, like, a little awkward. You guys are split up. What's happening here? Yeah, Roshan's happening, actually. Like, that's definitely where you guys should be. Instead of farming bottom. Again, it's risky. Like, you guys are doing Roshan while the 5 of them are all up. Like, what if Puck comes and ults 3 of you into, like, an AoE Sven stun, Cask Bouncing, and Maledict ult, Legion Duels, Macropyre, Ice Path? Like, they have a better Roshan. Your ult is pretty good for Roshan. So is, like, Scream of Pain, and he's good at doing Roshan. But, like, they actually have crazy AoE combos. And so, like, you guys really need to get a pick off. Before you just blindly do Roshan, in my opinion. Like, just because it works out in this game does not mean it'll work out every game. And so it's important to establish, like, good habits. Okay, you have Aegis. So what you guys should do, establish control of this area, push top lane in, have both mid and top push in, and then pick which one. I would take a look at, this one's mostly full health, this one's kind of barely touched. Actually, was it touched at all? Am I crazy? It wasn't touched at all. But because bottom's always going to push in your favor, I might pressure top to split them up as much as possible. So if someone needs to come deal with bottom, they have to come all the way down here. You guys start a fight, then they have to run like all the way up. That's usually the advantage of getting one of the side lanes first. So this positioning is pretty good. Like, you're pretty far back, but then keep in mind, like, I want to be close enough to help troll, and you're a little far on that end. You want to be on this side, actually, to help troll out. But you are keeping a decent distance, and that's good. See, it'd be really nice to, like, glimmer him right now, you know? But now you have to, like, run over, and now you glimmer. Okay. Wait, did he just go invis? Yeah. Yeah, that's why you need dust. I don't think it's okay to rely on just sentries. Some pros do it, I've noticed, where they like buy 5 sentries, but I don't love it. I think it's better to have dust. Just let Tusk die. You guys coming in here is gonna get all of you killed, I think. You can get Puck? Okay. You get Puck, but Troll's now dead, and Tusk died. So, like, was that really worth it? Wouldn't it have been better to just let Tusk die? I think so. Because Tusk can buy back, if really needed. Okay, you got Dust now. Good. Anytime you want to siege high ground, you have to have a couple things in your favor. You have to have the lanes in your favor, and then you also need to know you have all the detection and vision you need. So if you don't have that, you should tell your team, like, I don't have detection. Like, we can't go yet. I also think this ward is totally unnecessary. You guys are in the lead. The only reason they pushed up this far was because you guys threw a fight really badly. So as long as you guys don't throw a fight again like that, they will never come into this area. So this is, like, way too defensive of a ward. And you really want it for when you're pushing high ground to, like right now you're blind on their half. Because your wards have been, like, on high grounds, like here, and they've been getting dewarded. So you have no lasting vision on their half. Whereas if you had, like, done more conservative ones, like over here, or like over here, you'd still have some vision on the map, and you'd feel more comfortable than you do right now. And then placing this means you're not going to have a ward for later, because you have a limited ward stock, and if it's way back here, super defensively, I mean, you're not going to have it to be aggressive. You guys smoke up. And this is where it's like, yeah, don't you wish you had some kind of vision? It would help a lot. Even if it's, like, not the best ward, you know, at least seeing anything would really help. And right now you're smoked. This is a great time to place wards on the enemy half of the map. But you don't have one because you used it back here. What are your team's neutrals right now? It just hit 37, so if I was your team, one of the goals I would have right now is to just farm up the neutrals. No one wants to use Orb? I feel like Orb is so good on him. I guess the silence is pretty good too. Personally, I think Troll should take Orb, and then maybe Quap takes Mindbreaker. And then I think you should have the Ring of Aquila to provide an aura for your team. Coming high ground again. I mean, this is okay. Do keep in mind that they're all missing, so it is quite scary. And he's, like, way too deep. This is where you have to say, like, please, just get this building and get out. Like, look how far this is. And this isn't your mistake. This is his mistake. Like, look, you've all had to come up to the high ground to assist him now. What if Puck had waited to the side and now Blink coils 4 of you? No, it's just setting up, having to do this kind of thing. It's really risky. When you walk up this far, this is a great time to place... when you have to walk up this far for whatever reason, great time to put, like, a observer all the way back here, and then, like, a sentry over here or something. Because people tend to only check this area, this, like, front lip for observers and sentries. And anytime you get to, like, place one further back, not too close to the Ancient provides true sight. So in, like, a circle around it, don't do that. But, like, placing one back here is pretty nice. It'll give you pretty much vision of half their base. And that's really nice. Okay, you got this. You should all just get out right now. Good Force Staff. I don't blame you for having to be this far up because your team kind of dragged you up here, but I hope that shows you like why you don't want to be up here. Troll right now is just hitting the tower, so now it's kind of okay if you guys just cause a bit of havoc and buy time for him, but I still think it would be better to just like safely push as a team, and it's unnecessary to do this kind of thing. Now, not bad overall. Trolls should just ignore all of this and hit buildings. Okay. You guys win here? No, I think you don't win quite yet. You think I would remember how many times I've seen this, but I think this is like wasting time, killing the supports. And that's crazy. He actually dies from that. It's so funny. Super unnecessary to do that. You just take the racks and you leave. Or you make your way top. But not your fault. You got a Force Staff and a Glimmer. I don't mind that. I think the Force Staff lets you sit further back. It is a pain against Puck, but overall it's fine. Ooh, back to you. I don't mind that. Attempting that Legion. I mean, I think it's a really tough kill, but at least scaring her a little. Okay, same deal. I know you're trying to get vision for your team, but like, look where they are. None of them can help you right now. And you're like, again, walking up to this totally blind spot when you have, like, you see a couple of them over here, but it's like, it's still so scary to me that you just keep walking up here. Just like recognize how many people could individually kill you. Like Maledict ult, Maledict stun ult. I know you could technically cancel it, but that might do enough damage already to kill you. She could blink duel with like Jakiro there. Like, there's so many ways to kill you. You can't just like walk up this far. You do choose better of it, but still, even walking up there could get you killed if someone sees you on the high ground. Be careful of this. So at this point, it's probably okay. You guys are quite in the lead, but the only reason you can do this is if you have vision in this area, right? Because otherwise, you're seeing past trees and you're seeing high ground, and that can be, the other me team can sometimes find out that this is more of an issue during the laning phase when you reveal that you have vision here. Right now, it doesn't really matter because it's quite late in the game. I don't know if you place this ward. Let's look. Can I see the... No, not that. Yeah, you did place this ward. This is, again, a very defensive ward that isn't really needed. Like, why is the enemy team over here? You guys are in the lead. You don't need to place these kind of defensive wards. What were the other items your team got? Oh, you guys still don't have your items yet. You should definitely prioritize that as a team. As soon as the time changes, make sure you get all your items. Alright, not bad. Sven's gonna obliterate you. Buy back, I love it. This is the fight that you guys need to win. If you guys lose here, momentum could really swap. And I wasn't paying strict attention to Roshan timings, but my guess is they could do Roshan if they won this fight. So I really like that you buy back and go for the win. That would have been a good time to buy some... when you buy back and you're coming in, I would just like buy out a ton of wards and sentries to make sure you have the vision to finish this out and just drop a lot of them right now. Okay, you guys are diving a little bit. I would... well, whatever, right? You guys have won, so I'll allow it. In close games, I do just try to close it out. But, you know what? It's fine. All right. Yeah, we're done here. Zoom through it. So, I heavily emphasize the positioning thing because I think that's the... I don't know. It's just the biggest issue I see. And it's not just you. It is all players that do this. That my positioning looks awful to high immortal players. And, you know, it just continues further down. Like, every time you look at a player worse than you, you'll notice their positioning is an issue. And that's something that always needs to be worked on as high as you go. Because, Like at the very start of the lane, we saw you lose like over half your health because you walked up too close to the Legion commander. That's how you just lose lanes that you're not supposed to. When you just give away like half your health like that. And so that happens more and more the lower you are, because people just don't understand positioning. And so as you want to improve, you need to look, because losing half your health there, you could have not. You could have just saved all your money on regen, not having to heal up if you didn't take that damage. That was free damage you didn't need to take. And we're just looking to cut those things out to help ourselves improve. And then what else did I highlight? The clarity thing at the start. Lich is a hero that can do that. Some other heroes that can do that are like Shaman can sort of do it if he starts with Q. Jakiro's good at it. Lich is good at it. Crystal Maiden's not good at it. Disruptor's good at it. Bane, I would say he's okay at it. Ancient Apparition, his E is a little too long cooldown to do it, but if it was lower, he could be. Snapfire, who starts like Scatter Blast, could do it. Undying, who has Decay, can do it. Who are people that don't want to do it? Crystal Maiden, I said that. Dark Willow, not good at it because she has really long cooldown. She's not really a 5 anyways. Dazzle, really long cooldown on his Q, can't do it. Who else? Grimstroke sort of has spells for it, but they're like hard to hit. It like doesn't work if the spell is unreliable. So someone like Wind Ranger, whose power shot is technically very cost effective, it all depends on landing the skill shot. And if you totally whiff it, it's a huge waste. And so starting with Wind Run is way more reliable. That's why you see that a bit more. Lion Earth Spike isn't really a nuke, but technically you can do it. But it's like very short range, so it's tough to do it. Ogre sort of can do it, but it's like not very cost effective. Like look at Fire Blast, 75 mana for 60 damage, not very good. Ignite, it's kind of okay, but a bit too long cooldown to really make use of it. But you could do it, I suppose. Oracle doesn't really have spells that can do it. Skywrath, too expensive. Skywrath is actually like the reverse, where his is like too low cooldown and the damage is not enough to justify it. And then Concussive Shot is a bit more worth it in terms of mana to damage, but also like too long cooldown. So I hope that explains those three things. Or at least the heroes we just went through. Can Witch Doctor do it? He's also pretty common. Not really. Like, look at his spells. They're just too long cooldown. And I think you can just apply that to other sports yourselves. If we look at the graphs, so like, I would say you kind of like slightly lost this lane. It wasn't too bad, but I would say you did lose it. And doing things like not getting killed or not losing a bunch of health for free, making sure you had the salve, looking for a few more opportunities to pull, I think those would help you shift this from a slightly losing lane to a slightly winning to very winning lane. And then that just makes the game easier for yourself. But then going beyond that, looking for some small neutrals here and there when you know that none of your cores are about to farm it and you have like the downtime. Sometimes you should just be doing something, but there will inevitably be times where you're just waiting. Typically when like a core is dead, great time to farm a neutral camp, get close to an item. And then just be very careful. I don't want to make you like do a 180 completely and then play like extremely scared, but just every time you're moving out to the enemy side of the map, ask yourself like, is this a good idea? Like, am I about to die? Look at the map and see like how many people are there, and like ask yourself like, who could possibly be where I am about to walk up, and can my team help me? We're just trying to shave off some of your deaths, because I think this was like a, where are you? 1 in 12. Yeah, so like 12 deaths is a little high. This was kind of a high kill game anyways, but like we're always looking to shave off free random deaths because we're just losing gold from them and it delays our team. The death dying when your team had Aegis was the worst death you had. Now I know I was just like the whole time I've been critical, but your spell usage was pretty solid. Itemization was decent. Besides, like, I think starting the salve would have been good, and I think maybe the Bassie's okay. I think I'd prefer if the Bassie was just like raindrops and you get a stick as well. Like raindrops and stick is about the same price, and I think that would have been better. Having a stick at all would have been good. I think you needed dust a little sooner, once or twice. But like the actual items you bought were okay. Your spell usage was okay. Make sure you swap out your neutral for a better one. Bought about a good amount of wards, but you can be a little, avoid those super defensive ones and super obvious offensive ones. Try to be a little more creative with where you're placing your wards. All of this stuff I think will help you get into Divine easily. If you improve any of them, you don't have to improve all of them at once, but like start with one of them. Start with the wards. Start with your positioning, whichever you want to do, but any of them would help you make your way into Divine, I think. You did have a ton of assists, so you are participating in a lot of the fights. And I think the fights went okay. It was more about like getting to those fights that was a bit iffy. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope that was helpful, and I'll see you next time!